demo, as we call it, of the service we call PCA Enterprise Reference Data Cloud. So building on what PCA has done for more than 25 odd years, we can now, with the solid backing from disk partners Equinor, Aker BP, Able, and Aker Solutions, package and launch a comprehensive service targeted at both users and owners of reference data, standards, and ontologies. And today, with the kind collaboration of CFIHOS, we will show you how the service can, or indeed does, work using CFIHOS as a pilot. And today's demo takes the perspective of the enterprise users, or the enterprise as a user of our new service. We are not planning to have a Q&A today, but we very much welcome comments and questions in the chat that we can answer or comment back to after the meeting, or directly to either of us on email. I think Fredrik will have an email address at the end of this meeting. And as you may have noticed already, we are recording this session. So if you don't agree to that, you must either log out or you can also switch off the camera. And since there will be no Q&A, I think hopefully still staying in the meeting should be okay for everybody. With that, over to the demo, and take it away, Arne.
Thank you, Lars. So today we're going to talk about the need for extensible standards. And as Lars said, any questions and answers we would like you to post in the chat. The entire team that's been working on this is available in the meeting right now. And hopefully we will be able to answer your questions directly if possible. If not, that will give us a good written track record of what you were wondering about. So let's get into it. Why do we need extensible standards? Imagine the scenario. You've been tasked with replacing a broken centrifugal pump. When the pump was first procured, all of the required properties were neatly covered by the CFIHOS standard. Then, fast forward to today, we're faced with additional requirements for properties, and some of these aren't even defined in the standard yet. And as we know, rules and regulations are constantly evolving, and the standards need to incorporate the changes and then republish in order to keep up. So, what do we do? So, here's our imagined change order. We want to add some instrumentation information about the centrifugal pump. And the centrifugal pump is represented by the centrifugal pump class in CFIHOS. The steps we need to do in order to accommodate this is we need to make the class. And from a top-down perspective, it looks like this. There's a small indication that there are stuff that we need to do beforehand, as this is number 4. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to verify that the assumptions that we have for existing resources actually exist. There's an assumption in our work order that set point high and low are already defined in the CFIHOS standard. Then we need to create the set point low that we know isn't in the CFIHOS standard, and then we need to do the same for set point high. Once that is done, we need to actually show it to our cooperating partners to ensure that the work that I have done is usable by other people outside of my organization, because this is intended to enable interoperability. So how do we go about implementing this traditionally? The traditional approach, we use spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, they're almost infinitely customizable. However, the results tends tend to be specific and rather limited and difficult to scale. So this screenshot is an example of how we could extend the existing data model supplied by CFIHOS 2.0 by making an addition in a spreadsheet that is based on the equipment class spreadsheet from CFIHOS. We had our centrifugal pump, or we extend the centrifugal pump, and we create the new row called the centrifugal pump with instrumentation. We assign it a phone number, and so on. So that's step one. And then we add the two properties that we know are missing. And then we assign all four properties to the new class that we've created. That's all well and good. But now this new set of resources exists only on my computer. And we get into the problem of how do I distribute this? How do I ensure that there's not been any changes made to the spreadsheet as it's been distributed? How do we organize feedback? And you actually risk losing users who are uncomfortable with or unfamiliar with creating their own extensions. Again, because the spreadsheet is so customizable, you can do basically whatever you would like. So what we hope to present as a better and more streamlined solution is the CFIHOS Plus on the PCA platforms and services. And let's see, I hope this works now. So this is our production environment. We're not going to be using it today because we are going to be adding new resources to the libraries, and everything that is in the production environment, we want to be able to guarantee that it is safe and predictable for any of our users to use it in their day-to-day business. I am not a mechanical engineer, a process engineer of any kind, so I will not be adding new resources to the production environment. Instead, we are going to be utilizing our draft environment. As you can see here, we have already added some existing ontologies. We got a representation of ISO 15096 part 4, a meta ontology for the CFIHOS model, as well as CFIHOS 1.51 and CFIHOS 2.0. The reason we were able to, in I think it's been about 3 weeks now, to make a semantic representation of the CFIHOS 2.0 spreadsheet is that we built on the existing functionality that we have already tried, that's already tried, true, and tested for hosting the IMF type library, as well as ISO part 1596 part 4 version 4. So let's get into it. Step 1, we log in. And I'm just going to be adding the one property now, because watching me do the exact same thing twice isn't very meaningful for you. So we've decided on the name, and we would like to communicate clearly that this is a set point for volume flow rate. I choose to reflect this in the name. And we're also going to grab a definition that we made earlier. And we're going to specify that we're adding it to our CFIHOS Plus ontology. And we are going to specify volume flow rate from the CFIHOS dimension list. In CFIHOS, a property isn't assigned a unit of measure by itself. It's just assigned the dimension that it is intended to measure or quantify. So, as required by the Instrument. I should have made this ahead of time. And then we submit it for review. So now we got a new resource immediately. We're going to navigate back, and we're going to navigate to the CFIHOS Plus tab here. Now there are 2 items in it. You can see here we got set point low, set point low, and set point high. These 2 definitions. You can navigate to either of them, and we can see the reference they have to a dimension. But that's not what we set out to do. What we set out to do was the class. Then navigate back to our main site. We go to equipment, and then I'm going to do some copy pasting again. We say that we want to make a centrifugal pump with instrumentation. We say that this is in the demo package. This is just a name that we use to make sure that the quality and assurance flow that we'll touch on later is slightly easier to point into. Then we grab our definition. We also specify that this should be put in our CFIHOS Plus ontology. And we specify that we want to extend and specialize the centrifugal pump class. Then we show you all of the properties that are already specified in the CFIHOS centrifugal pump equipment class, because you can't re-add these. The inheritance structure ensures that all of these will also be required and/or valid choices for our new specialized class. Then we want to add the set points. And we got set point low, as you can see. This one is approved, unlike the one that we just added. We add it. And then this is where I'm going to show my ignorance. I am going to assume that cubic meter per second is a good choice for unit of measure for our flow rate. And then I add our other set point. Then what you might have noticed is that the 2 properties that I claimed was already in the ontology aren't listed here under physical properties. The reason for that is that the set point properties that are already in CFIHOS 2.0 are not assigned a dimension, and we have to choose them as other properties. So then we go for set point low, and we choose set point again, and set point high, as required by the instrumentation use case. And then we submit it for review. So now we can navigate directly to the resource. We can fetch it in a machine-readable format. And for our physical properties, it shows us the exact units of measure we would like the instantiation to use. So you can see that for set point high volume flow rate, it is measured in cubic meters per second for if you're choosing to use SI, or cubic meters per second if you're choosing to use imperial. This is just the way we've interpreted it. So this is something we would like feedback on if it turns out that we're not entirely on point. So as we can see here, the status of our new resource is still just submitted. So this hasn't been run through the approval process yet, but we can download the resource and we get it as a machine-readable representation straight out of the box already. So in order to comply more with the principles of FAIR when you're coining IRIs, we want to and need to make some guarantees about how findable, accessible, and reusable is this going to be. Because when the status of a resource is just submitted, it might change, or it might actually be rejected. So if we navigate back to the library and then choose Review Submitted Data. Oh, good thing. Now we can see the name that I chose earlier for package name. We've got demo, and we have the property we added and the class we added. I would like to review and approve my property first. If this were real data, I would not be able to approve my own submissions. The intent here is that for all actual data that is being put into production, you have to have somebody else in the technical authority, committee, or group actually approve your data or your submissions. Now we're going to do the same for the pump. This also looks good. Now we approve it. And now we can navigate the CFIHOS Plus ontology, and we can list all of the extensions that we've made to the CFIHOS 2.0 ontology in this one page. And when the resources are approved, we make a guarantee for that it is always going to be resolvable under this IRI. It is always going to be findable via these net pages, and the guarantee that we make for it being interoperable from the get-go, even before it has gone through the entire Q&A process, so that the developers and the engineers that are waiting on and are depending on these extensions, they can start to work on and evaluate the implementation changes that they need to do on their side in the software that they make a lot earlier than they could previously. And that's about it. And on that note, I'm going to navigate back to the spreadsheet. I'm going to go for thank you for your time, and I'm going to hand over to Fredrik for some closing statements and how you can get a hold of us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Arne. That was a great demo. I hope everyone attending here enjoyed it. What you saw today is really leading edge, and I want to point out, as Arne mentioned earlier, that this is something that we've added in under 1 month of time. That is possible because this collaboration has invested tens of millions on this, and we have developed a platform that is robust and extendable. PCA is a non-profit organization, so we don't have an endless amount of resources. Therefore, we do need your help to ensure the uptake of this in your organizations and your networks. So please spread the word out and point people in the direction of PCA when it is relevant. If you're interested in accessing this functionality, or you want to have more information about the service, some more deep dives or whatever, please contact us. The email on the screen here is something that is maintained by the PCA team, so drop us a mail there and we will get back to you. That was all for today, and unless there are any more closing remarks from you, Lars, I think we can close before the time.
No remarks, except that thanks a lot to you and Arne. Great demo. I hope this was interesting stuff for most of you. So with that, we'll just say thank you for the attention and have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.